Hey, I'm going to make I'm going to show you guys a video that my wife made about 3 years ago. Since we've lived here, the back of our property is against farmland, which is fine. And the whole back of my property had little trees on it and briars and stuff. And once I had time, I'd go back there and try to trim it up a little bit. And some of it was hanging over on the guy's property. This property is behind me, this farm property. But last, they were spraying it. They'd go by there and spray it with brush killer or something. I didn't know. You know, they could have been spraying it with gasoline for all I know. But anyway, and we complained about it. I complained about it. My wife complained about it. And they would stop for a year, and then the next thing you know, they're spraying it again. So I thought, okay, I'll fix it. So I went back there, and took me about 2 months off and on to clear all the brush out, all the little trees. I made it big enough that I could run my mower, which would be about 2 passes at 4. Yeah, I cleared about 10 feet. And I was mowing it. It turned out that it's almost like grass, you know. I mean, I had to cut all these trees down really short so I could mow it. So then, about 3 years ago, I went back there and I was going to check my black raspberries that grow along there right up against where I mow, because it's nice and sunny there and they grow. And I saw they were kind of dried up, you know. I thought, well, maybe it's just kind of dry. So maybe a few days later, I went back there and everything back there was brown. I mean, it was just like scorched earth. And I mentioned to my wife, I said, did you go back there and spray something? She goes, no, I didn't spray anything, but that damn neighbor probably did it again. I said, well, he couldn't do that because there's grass between us and him. So anyway, it even killed some of the grass too. But mostly he was spraying the bushes and stuff. The trouble was, when I went back there to get raspberries or blackberries, I'd eaten a couple of them that were starting to wilt. I didn't know that somebody had sprayed it. But anyway, she got mad and called the police, basically. And come to find out, after the agricultural, whatever they are, people that are over agriculture came out, they said we could press charges and put him in prison. Well, that brought the guy that sprayed him out. He never really apologized. He said, well, I thought I was doing you a favor. I said, how in the hell were you doing me a favor? I said, if you want to do me a favor, just stay the hell off my property. And I'd planted little trees, some fir trees along there, and some catalpa trees, and it killed them deader than a doornail. And he kept saying, well, you know, it's not really, it won't hurt people, it won't hurt people. I told him I ate one of the raspberries. He said, well, it won't hurt people. So I just went over there and grabbed some grass that was all brown, and I knew he'd sprayed it. I said, here, I want you to chew on that for a little bit. He goes, don't be ridiculous. I said, I'm not being ridiculous. So anyway, keep an eye on your agricultural people, because they've got a license to buy all this poison, and they're poisoning everything. And personally, I believe the runoff from all this Roundup is killing the weeds in the lakes. I'm not saying they're spraying the lakes, but I think that they're using it so much that it's leaching into the water, the groundwater, and the surface water, and going into the lakes through the creeks and stuff. But anyway, I'm going to leave it at that, and I think they should outlaw Roundup. But anyway, here you go. Here's the video my wife made.
What would you do if your neighbor took Roundup and sprayed it and killed your vegetation on your property? It's not just the weeds he killed. Along here, besides the bluebird houses, hopefully they didn't die, but they probably did. How would you like to plant baby trees and nurse them along, hand watering them, just so they'll have a good start? And when they do get a good start, your neighbor comes along with Roundup and so they knew it was killing the vegetation. And on the other side of that mulberry tree, within 20 feet of this, is our garden. Those were wild raspberry bushes. We hang up our clothes. I don't know if our clothes were out the day he sprayed. Beneath those apple trees, Roundup has been sprayed. Is Roundup getting into these apples? Do you buy Michigan apples? Would you want this in your apple?